Okay, guys, so welcome to our afternoon session. All right. Didn't do a morning one today, trying to grab the market and be ready for the FOMC news. All right, so I want to start off. So I was in Euro NZD and I had my stop loss up here, but I'll be honest, I just got a bit too scared because of risk because I thought the price might spike again. So I put my stop loss a bit lower and I got stopped out by the spread, but you can see the price is still dropping. Now the alternative trade since the market has been a little bit volatile there was to just go for, I'm going to do this. The alternative was simply to just take the break and flip of the zone, which it seems to be the easiest alternative to do. So when we get a break on the H1 here, and then the price returns to the other side, I have an alarm set for it. We'll just take a sell, put our stop loss above here, and ride the rest of the wave down because this is definitely going to be a short. Excuse me, but for now though, the H1 wick of the candle has taken the low of the previous day, but the body of the candle is still inside of the area. So that's that. Now NZD/USD started to creep up slowly. Just let the candlesticks load a bit, but the price has creeped up a little bit. You can see there's just taking a little while to load. I'm not too sure why that's happened, but yeah. Either way, NZD/USD is about 20 pips from the bottom of where the price is on the lower time frame. So let me just get rid of the terminal. Okay. Now, for whatever reason, the price feed doesn't want to come through, but that's fine anyway. Well, NZD/USD will load by itself, but this is the situation. So if Euro NZD/USD, okay, now it decided it wants to load. It's come around this area here, which is really a key area of demand that the price is in. But we just need the price to start taking off. Now, the FOMC news should be the trigger to push the prices where we want it to go. But it's been bouncing around here. I definitely know we will go long because the most recent short that we've had, okay, this is a D1 stop on with an RTO where the price has got short, but then still the highs are equal and so are these. So at some point, the price should break through. Maybe the price might take this weekly low first. We don't know. Now with Euro NZD and NZD/USD, I believe that NZD/USD is going to produce a very strong long. That's the last entry that we're looking for from this FOMC news. Now, right now, with Euro NZD is in a supply zone here. But I'm just going to simply do this. So if I go down as I am on the M15 already, the most obvious flip zone is this one here. So really what we'll do is when we get a H1 break, wherever the price pulls back to, which it will do, we'll put our stop loss somewhere above these areas here and then just continue as normal. You know, I spent NZD/USD, Euro NZD has been an annoying pair all this week. I had an entry here, stopped me out just by a bit, dropped by quite a few pips. That would have been great profit. Then it came back, I caught an entry over here the day before. The news came all the way back to my entry. And my plan is because when the market opened, I was in profit. I wanted to put my stop loss to break even so that when the news comes out, you know, I could have a bit of liberty to just hold on to my trade and not to worry too much about risk. But unfortunately, I guess they were just very smart with it. They came all the way back to any possible entry that anyone could have had, and then spiked a little bit so that it would kind of, because most traders would have closed, I guess, or some traders would have closed. My stop loss was up here, and my worry was, especially for my funded accounts, I didn't want to incur a massive loss because of the spread, or the price jumps up above my stop loss by far and it stops me out, and you know something goes wrong with the risk. So I put my stop loss, I guess, a few minutes or like a minute before the news was coming out because the price was somewhere down here. When I did, the price spiked back up again. Took my stop loss. I only lost $16, which is not a problem at all. The loss was minor, but at the same time, now all these other pips over for 130 pips were out of sight until now. So what I want to do is just use the H1 to grab the rest of this trade. And I'm hoping the price will break beneath and do what it needs to do. Okay, so that we can get the entry. So Euro NZD, I'm still got my eye on it. Still a good opportunity. I'm not gonna lie and say it didn't get me annoyed because pound CHF, I missed it by 2 pips. Euro NZD, this is I'm not gonna lie. It's one of those weeks where that is frustration. And I don't care who you are, it's frustrating too, especially when you have goals in mind that you're trying to achieve. It can be very, very annoying. So if that's happened to you, you just miss pound CHF and you just miss Euro NZD or something, or you didn't capture them at all, or you don't even know what I'm talking about, even better for you if you don't know what I'm talking about right now. So if you look at the other pairs, they're starting to wake up. We've got USD CAD has taken the high of the previous week and it's kind of struggling around, but I do think the price is definitely going to still produce a short. If I go to pound USD, now pound USD, I'm definitely taking a short. Now, the trade I'm actually going to show you that I'm going to take is this one here, which is pound CAD. Now, pound CAD is in a very nice D1 supply zone. It's giving us a D1 stop hunt on a weekly validation point here. So it's a really sound trade that I've got my pending orders already set. Now, on the H1, okay, or if we go to the H1 here, we do have market structure break of a previous swing low over here. This big red candle here is a Judas swing, which is what we're looking for. And the timing of the Judas swing, this is within the London session, which is pretty nice. So all really I'm waiting for is an RTO. Now on the H1, it might be a little bit difficult to see, but this demand zone here, the body of the candles closed beneath it just a lot slightly. So if I draw this over here, this orange area here, let me do it properly, right to the tip of the zone. You can see that this H1 body has closed beneath here. So we do have a break of demand. So this is not a demand zone anymore, as you may think. The price has broken beneath it. So all I'm looking for is for the price to give an RTO. Now, at the moment, it's pushing down short. It hasn't done an RTO as of yet, but it's pretty clear the price does want to go short. Now, I'm not going to get uncomfortable with a pound CAD going short like the way it is right now, because I know the price has to pull back at some point. I've put my stop, now my pending orders, I've put them over here, and the price is wicked close by. Right now is in this H1, the smaller H1 demand zone. All I want to see the price do really is just get into this area. Once it gets into this area, stop loss I've set is above here, and then I'll be looking for a sell all the way down here. So as a trade, I think is a pretty good, straightforward trade. And it's going to make me hit all my targets. So it's a good consolation trade to take instead of, you know, I'm not going to lie and say to you that pound CAD didn't annoy me. It really has annoyed me a lot. But at the same time, when it comes to trading, you just have to be patient. I'm not going to lie. I did get angry because it's like the market is trying to tease me or is trying to play around with me because I keep just missing these amazing trades that I'm giving to you guys just by a few tiny pips. It's annoying. 3 times in a row as well is not fun. But I'm just trying to hold my emotions and just trade logically and look for good trades like what we have with pound CAD. I think pound CAD is an amazingly simple trade and there's great potential for it. Okay, so if you want to take this, I'm not even going to post this out. I'm going to leave this in the recording. We'll call it gold hidden in a live. If you don't take the trade, that's because you didn't watch the live session. I don't want to hear any complaints because all of you keep telling me, yeah, I watched the live session back. Well, if you watch the live session back, then I should see that you've traded pound CAD when it does what it does. Okay. So with your NZD, my advice is it's quite a simple short anyway. This is a very strong area of demand, a good one. So any break and return is good enough for us. We could use it. Now, at the moment, the price seems to be using the higher up demand zone, but this lower down one is my main focus because after this, the next H1 demand zone's down here, but by that time, we'll really be reaching this area here. So Euro NZD is not bad as a trade at all. I'm not going to lie and say I'm not annoyed. As I said, it's very annoying what happened, but it's part of the game of trading. You know, sometimes these things happen. The thing I am glad about is that my level of accuracy of knowing the direction of the trade is correct because every trade I've given you is correct. But that's the only thing. Sometimes when you miss that entry by a few pips and you really want to get an entry, it does hit, it does hurt a little bit. You know, it stings. So hopefully now, looking at what we've got with the charts, we can get a good trade. Now it looks like pound CAD and euro NZD are in the same direction. I guess so because of euro kind of pound situation. So if euro NZD goes short, pound CAD should be going short in reality. So sooner or later, we are going to get this break or whatever we're looking for. I'm just going to hold my tongue and not get angry at euro NZD. I'm going to stop looking at it, in fact. Now, the next one is AUD USD. Now, AUD USD is actually taking the low of the previous week, out ever so slightly, though. I mean, the low of this previous week is 117. The low of this previous candle here is 114. So we have a 3 pip take of the low. And now the price is kind of forming back to this area here. You know, to be really fair, it's still a stop on. It still is. You know, I'll probably try for a trade in this demand zone over here. And put my stop loss here and see if it does work out. It will be the same for NZD USD as well, which is going to be the focus now because these trades are doing pretty well. The only thing is, I guess, is what the main, not worry, but the main problem is that Euro USD hasn't gone back into that demand zone. So that's what's making me think the moment that all the stars align, if you want to call it that, and I'm not an astrologist by any measure, but just as for your understanding, once all of the pairs are in the same alignment, which means that Euro USD actually goes into this demand zone because it hasn't returned, it's still got unfulfilled efficiency, but other pairs are already moving forward, which I don't really like too much. The pound, of course, is completely different from everything else, but I would have liked to see Euro NZD at least, you know, just get back in here already. It hasn't done that. So maybe there might be more shorting going on. Obviously, pound CHF, you know the trade I've given you, it was a brilliant trade and it's done amazingly well. Yeah, so that's what I would like to see. Now, another thing that gives me a clue that we might have a little bit more of a pullback short is, okay, we talked about gold. Gold has taken the low of the previous month, which is a powerful signature. Okay, it's giving us a H4 market structure break here, which Matthew discussed. And these are the lines from yesterday that we talked about. My only problem with gold at the moment is it hasn't returned to this demand zone yet. And it was making an attempt almost to go long. But what I can see has happened if I take off these lines here, I think gold has never been this straightforward before. Or it has been straightforward, but in a powerful measure is here. So if we look over here, and the wick of this candle has given us a D1 stop on. And I do think that this stop on is the trigger for us to get the price going down here short. So it means that to me, the US dollar pairs have a little bit more of a length to go down. Now, I'm just hoping that this low, because I don't know why the price data is so slow. Maybe is it because my battery of my laptop is a little bit low or something. Okay. All right. So, all right. So now if we look at this, I'm on the M5. Okay. We've had a stop hunt here. On the 5-minute time frame, is fine, especially with stuff like gold. You can even use the 1-minute time frame to analyze because even though it doesn't look like it, but the candlesticks on the 5-minute are like 30-minute candlesticks on other Forex pairs. You know, if I give you a quick example, in 5 minutes, the price did 25 pips. So, you know, for you to find something doing 25 pips in 5 minutes on a Forex pair, you know, it has to be some sort of medium impact news at least. Okay. So now that price has broken structure, gold really should be pulling back here to give us an RTO, and then it should be going short. So as a trade, is actually a pretty good shout. If you've got an entry here, stop loss here, your target would be, to be honest, anywhere inside of this pink area. From here to here, that's about 150 pips. If you can get your stop loss at 30 pips, or even less, it's 22.6 for 150. That's a good risk reward, is 1 to 7. So it's not bad as a trade either. All right. So what I'm thinking and looking at gold is that there needs to be an RTO soon. If we take it down to the 1 minute, there's more specifics we can get to. We have a demand flip zone here that price has created. hasn't returned back to it. So if I mix this with the M5, the exact entry range that you should go for would be here. In fact, I probably will take this trade because it's not so much of a difficult trade to really be in. You could put your stop loss a few pips above here and get an even better trade. So that's another trade signal, but I'm not posting it. If you don't take the time to watch this video, you're not going to know. All right. And this is why my suspicion is a little bit higher with AUD USD with that 3 pip stop on. It might do a second one. Now, my idea that I wanted to go for, and I had a pending order on this account, I just took it off because I thought the price might spike, and it did, is until the price, if you're not too sure, and worst comes to worst, the FOMC news has come and the price is somewhere hanging down there, you don't know when to get in. I'm going to put a buy stop over here because this demand flip zone, if it gets re-optimized for demand, it means the price is now ready to go for the long. So I would have put a buy stop here, stop loss somewhere down here, and then we can ride all the pips for the next couple of weeks until we get to the penultimate moment of life, which is going to be the massive short we're waiting for. Okay, so right now there's a great plethora of trades. Even if I don't trade gold, I am watching gold. And I will post out the schematic for this one because this is an important one to understand. And then after, we can come to the reality of what to do with a trade. So there's a pretty good plethora of trades all over the place. I'm just waiting for pound CAD in reality. And let's see what pound CAD has to offer. Okay, I'm hoping that I've chosen the M30 zone, or H1, I should say, area to get in. But I know that there's a 15-minute zone slightly above over here, which is, it's like about 3 pips away. But I guess just to make sure that I'm in, I'm putting it there. And also because of spread as well, because even if I put this here, the spread is about 1.5 pips. So if I put an entry here, it will need to get up to around about here to me to get in. So if I put this here, it will be the same as if I entered the true market price of about here. So there's not really too much of a difference in this case, all right? But I think for me, pound CAD is a very solid trade and a very clean one at that. And yeah, I think you can get in and enjoy the trade. So I'm gonna quickly do a quick scan to see what else is available here. And I think we've got a good set of trades and I'll be happy with it. So I'm gonna Swiss franc JPY. I'm not really interested in the JPYs. I know USD JPY is probably gonna go short now because it's done a weekly stop on here. It hasn't done the best MSB and RTO, but because it's in the range of the previous monthly high, it's good enough for it to be able to produce a short. And maybe if we're lucky, we may be able to get like a nice drop on it. But for now, I'd rather just stick to the trades that are very clear to go by. But again, remember, after looking at the dollar index yesterday, then you should remember that we do need the dollar index to produce a short. We do need that to occur. If we don't have that, then ideally we're going to be stuck in a position where we're stuck in a position where we don't know what we're doing, where we're going, and that'll be very interesting. So Euro GBP, I think, to be honest, I don't really have taste for more trades, if that makes sense. I don't think there's any need to go for any more trades. I think what I've just given out, if you can just grab one of those, it'll be good enough. Now, they do look good. Okay, EuroCAD is very nice. Let's go to the H4 and D1 and take this in. Yeah, I think all the CAD pairs probably are going the same way. EuroCAD is inside of D1 demand. Now, I know there's a stop hunt from the day before, and it is a strong one because it's type 1 over here and type 2. But let's see something here. Yeah. The only thing is, though, is that even though this is type 1 and type 2, this price is very deeply into the supply liquidity here. This stop hunt really didn't happen in demand. I guess you could question and say that this is a demand zone, but let's think about this logically. It took 1 day for the price to produce this amount of pips. So basically 200 pips plus. And it's taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days to be able to produce that same liquidity on the bullish side. So in terms of Euro CAD, the market is letting us know what side liquidity is really driving to, which is the bearish side. And my thoughts is that they definitely want to come for this low, because logically speaking, the price should have come to this low. It didn't. It came very close to it, literally about, yeah, 1 point, okay, even a bit more than that, about 2 or 3 pips away, and decided to reverse all the other way back. So if you put that into perspective of understanding how highs and lows work, the market was just looking for another strong area of supply and didn't have enough, or they purposely have just left that low for a better time. So this stop on here, I believe, is a pretty good stop on in respect to the direction that we should be looking to go for. And now we have over here a very clean, very, very clean stop on. EuroCAD, I think EuroCAD is very clean here. If I just pull this white area here, we have a very beautiful D1 stop on. Now, market structure break, in terms of market structure break from the H1. Let me zoom in a bit. The market structure break that we're looking for would be any swing low. Now, there isn't a swing low on the H1. Okay, so on the M30 will be the next place to look. As soon as we get to the M30, you can see we do have a very nice situation here of a market structure break. Okay, I think another thing I really love about EuroCAD here is we do have, now let's put this here. We do have, let's put this in blue. We do have a market structure break in our RTO with supply. So what we need from EuroCAD is about 19 more pips. Anywhere within this region, to be fair, EuroCAD is a great sell. And what would be the target in this instance? The target would be for the price to take the low of the previous month here. So from here to here, we're looking at about 180 pips. You probably might crash down even further, but this is actually a pretty good trade and very clean as well in terms of risk management. Let's see what's going on here. If I pull the risk management tool up, all right, so if we get an entry into this supply zone area here, stop loss above, okay, so for me, risking one lot would be $109 risk, and the reward would be back down just a few pips beneath. So let me zoom out properly, make sure I get this right. So it'll be even further than that because the low of last month is beneath these lows here. So it's about a 1 to 12 risk to reward, or 1 to 11. Yeah, I think EuroCAD is pretty good. So I'll post it. I think I will post some of these trades out just to give you guys a plethora of options. Let me be fair. I give out these signals and let you guys choose which ones you want. So I'll get to it then. As the tradition is, let's take a look at the news. Now, the reason why I take a look at the news every day, I told you, is from experience of not looking that one time that caused me to miss out on something that was a very important trade. So what I've decided to do is to produce a system or systematize making sure, or what I do, the steps I take to make sure that trading is as easy and successful as possible. So for that to happen, I always check the news, because news can change. They may add new pieces of news, the time may change. You know, human beings have activity, and here's exactly why I'm saying that. Now, Governor Orr, which is the governor of the Central Bank of New Zealand, or the Royal Bank of New Zealand as it's called, is having a speech at 10 minutes past. Now, if you watch my videos back, you would know that this was not there yesterday. And this is a prime example of what I talk about when it comes to looking at the Royal Bank of, or looking at news in general. You never know what's going to happen now. The New Zealand dollar already has been pretty volatile, and I've been having an annoying experience of trying to get in. But if you didn't look at this news, and then 10 minutes into the news, the New Zealand dollar, or all New Zealand dollar pairs start going crazy, you would just wonder what's going on. Or the market is just trying to manipulate me again, which is not true, or entirely true, because they're always trying to. But at the same time, you could have a heads up now. So in terms of New Zealand dollar pairs, if you're in profit and the FOMC news is going in your favor, you won't get too happy yet until maybe about 15 or 20 minutes has passed for this speech that come, because this looks like this speech has happened out of the blue and nobody knew, or the FX Street didn't know until recently, and they've added that in. because that definitely wasn't there even yesterday. So this is why I say this is a great example of why I say to always check the news. All right. Now, there was something I wanted to do, and I'll quickly switch over and do it. Now that we have all these trades, I'm going to post it to you guys, Academy students and stuff, and then I'm going to push out some information to you with it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Hugo's Way quickly, and let's just look at the state of the dollar index for a moment so that we can recap on why I'm looking for longs. Now, remember the counter trend trade in the perspective of long-term dollar movement is for the dollar index to go short so that it can give us a return back into demand liquidity, and then we can go for the next movement. So dollar index on the H4, you can see for most of this week, all right, you can see that the price hasn't really done much. It hasn't progressed far anywhere, basically. The dollar index is hanging around here, which is for a specific reason. There's an aggregate of buy orders is probably trying to accumulate so that it can go for the sell. Now, the key thing is that if you look at this wick here, all right, let's do some wick analysis. The price has wicked into a very important area of supply. Now, I will delete this in a moment, otherwise my charts will become too clustered. But if I just draw this across here, the liquidity for supply, which is what triggered the price to get back down to $100 in the first place, has been tapped into for the last 5 days. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then this day didn't, but the supply was derived here. So 5 days. So now that the liquidity is being engaged, if you want to call it that, there is enough supply liquidity to push the price back down to where we're looking for. Okay. And then we now have, at least between today and tomorrow, we have 2 pieces of US high impact news that, as a combination or separately or whichever way, one or the other, or both, basically, can produce the level of volatility and liquidity in the market that will push the price down here. And once it does do that, all of the dollar pairs should be on their way for the reversal, the final reversals for the big shorts that we're looking for, based on an inflation, inflation analytics and all the stuff that we've been doing. Now, the trigger for this trade over here in the first place was already a very strong inductive move to produce this short. So now that price has come back here, there's no shock to me that price is going to make its way up for a very important long. So this is ideally what we need. And price hanging around here, there's a few options that might happen. The easiest thing that can happen is that when the FOMC news comes out, the algorithm of the market may attempt to take this high, because taking this high would mean to most people, because you can imagine that for most of this month, you should be bullish on the dollar just from sight reading without doing any deep analysis. So if they push the price up here, especially if they do it in a very graceful manner and not too fast, many people will be saying, yep, the dollar's on its way up again for another leg of longs. Cool. Once the price gets to this high, then this would be a trigger for a reversal to produce short. Now, depending on the order concentration and direction, they may do it quickly and just spike the high and then continue going low, because maybe there's stop losses, or there might be buy stops here too. If there are buy stops here, then if they spike the price quickly and reverse it the other way, it won't give traders enough time, and even robots enough time to process. They're just going to get stopped out quite quickly, or at break even or whatever. So those are the 2 options, which should then produce this short here. Now, I'm hoping that the FOMC news just produces a heavy short right straight away, but we can't really judge that. And again, the FOMC news, what makes it different from normal data news is that it's a written speech. So if the market moves straight away, which it isn't manipulated already, if the market moves exactly at 7 o'clock, then it lets you know that there is manipulation going on to the highest degree, because you need to read that news. All the market participants, hedge funds that have, high levels of money in the trillions even, are involved in this market. So if the FOMC news comes out at 7 and immediately comes out, bam, within the same second, just like data news, like, I don't know, in interest rate decision, the market just goes crazy, long or short, that's manipulation, all right? The real news or the real movement would be the reversal of that. So if the news comes out 7 or the 7 hits on the dot UK time for me anyway, and the price just goes crazy, and then let's say the price comes down to this magical area here that we're looking at, by 7:15 moving forward, the price should slowly start reversing the other way. And then into the next day, maybe let's say when the GDP news comes out for the dollar, push the price back up again. Okay, if there's no reaction, which usually with the FOMC news takes about 15 minutes for the price to wake up, because you know it has to be, the news has to be read to understand what they're thinking, then we may have a reaction. All right, or it may just be a slow burner. So either way, we're going to see something happen. We definitely are. So coming back to the dollar index, we need a short to happen. The price is in a very deep area of supply liquidity. Once it gets here, that should be enough liquidity to push the price where we need it to go. So AUD USD, NZD USD, as I've written here, XUSD pairs is going to be a sell, then a buy. In fact, I need to change this because I just realized it's actually a mistake. So in terms of the order, we should be a buy for a long first. In fact, let me just cut and paste this out. So long for the buy and then a short for the sell. I just corrected myself. I see the mistake there. And then, of course, for the others, it will be the other way. So USD CAD, it will be a sell-off and then a buy. I think I just copied and pasted it here. And then XUSD will be a long buy, then a sell. That's exactly what I mean. So in essence, we have negative dollar strength come in, and then we have positive dollar strength for the long term. Okay, in the long term, I mean like the next year, maybe the end of 2023 towards 2024, something like that. Okay, so that's the position that I'm holding when it comes to these pairs, and let's see what happens. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. All right, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Everybody take care and have a great day.